Thank you, Liam. Schoolyards across the GTA are once again full of kids running and playing. But what happens if your child hurts themselves? Who's liable? We turn to John Philp of Preszler Law to answer that. Welcome back.
Good morning.
Good to see you. So, yeah, school back in session. So let's talk about, what standard of care needs to be met out on the schoolyard or within the school.
Yeah, and this is a great subject because we're back to school. Schools have a responsibility, just like any sort of private property, to make sure that the premises is safe. They have to take all reasonable steps in the circumstances to ensure that the property is safe for these children. Now, back to school, we see sometimes cases, we had one where there was glass in a sandbox at the beginning of the school year because there had been some older kids, some teenagers maybe, partying in the park, and a bottle had gotten broken in the sandbox, and when the kids went back to school, one of these children was injured because the school hadn't inspected the sandbox at the beginning of the school year to make sure that it was safe, and one of these kids got cut very badly from the glass. So in those circumstances, you have to look at what has the school done to make sure that the premise is safe. Is there a system of maintenance in place? Do they have custodians or janitors going around inspecting the property? Have they documented these inspections? That's a very important step in the process.
Right, for the school, if they're going to prove that they've been taking care of what they've been doing.
Exactly. They actually have to keep a record of what inspections have been done of the property.
At what point is it just sort of kids being kids, like whether it's like roughhousing in the halls or at gym or that kind of thing?
Well, that's a good question, and there has to be an actual hazard on the property. So there needs to be, for example, a pothole in the playground that maybe wasn't observed or wasn't inspected by the school. There needs to actually be something on the premises that is unsafe in order to, that caused the injury, in order to bring a lawsuit against the school.
Right, and that's who you would never be bringing it personally, would you, or would you, against a teacher or anything like that?
Well, it depends. It depends on the circumstances. Like all personal injury cases, you have to look at all of the facts. And if it's a situation where perhaps the school teacher or the principal or whoever was there had a responsibility to be supervising the children, maybe had some responsibility to inspect the schoolyard or wherever the injury occurred, then yeah, you might want to consider bringing a lawsuit against the teacher as well as the school.
In regards to school, is it seasonal as well? Does it change seasonally as far as liability? Homeowners have to clear snow in a certain amount of time and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And, in the wintertime, just like a private premises, the school has to make sure that the schoolyard is safe. There can't be giant patches of ice that kids are going to be running across and falling down and cracking their heads open. So, again, they need to take reasonable steps in the circumstances to make sure the property is safe.
Excellent. Thank you so much, John Philp of Preszler Law. Always good to see you.
Always good to see you too. Thanks.
Thank you.